Hello, hello, everyone. It is Brenda here for Stamplicity, and welcome to What's Up Wednesday. All right, as promised, we are going to explore the new collection, the July collection from Uniquely Creative. This collection is called Sweet as Honey, and it is a beautiful collection. All right. So we're going to be doing some layouts and some cards this evening. I'm probably a little over ambitious as I was planning this evening's live. We'll see how far we get because there's just so much goodness in this collection. So that is where we are heading this evening. All right. So all of this is available on our website at www.stamplicity.ca. I'm going to go through the kind of the collection and what I'll be using this evening. Some of it are already kind of took apart because I was planning. All right. So, but we'll go through it and I'll explain it as we go. So I'm just going to change the view of my camera here. There we go. Full screen so you can kind of see what we're playing with. All right. So first of all, there is the 6x6 collection pack. Mine's a bit of a mess right now because, like I said, I was going through it, but it's a beautiful array of kind of a distressed look with florals, bees, and a really fantastic yellow. All right. It's not too bright. It's more of a subdued yellow, mixed in with some kind of browns, but just a really fantastic patterns. All right. Now, the 6x6 is always good for card making. So I'll be using this for the card making. And then, of course, the 12x12 we also have, which mine is really torn apart. But there's a 12x12 collection. Sorry, I took sheets out. I started doing the prep work, but there is a 12x12 as well. All right, so there is that. Then there is a coordinating cardstock. And I love having the coordinating cardstock because now I don't have to search through my little bins of cardstock to find the perfect match. So whenever I get a Uniquely Creative collection pack, I always grab the cardstock bundle because I know this is going to match perfectly. The other cool thing about this is there is two sheets of each of the color you see, but this is printed cardstock. And what that means is it started as a white piece of paper, and then they print on both sides the color. So you're getting a 2-for-1 on this one. So on one side, you'll have that lovely yellow, and then on the opposite side, you're going to have a lighter tone of that. And that goes for all the 5 colors that are here, which is just amazing. All right. It is, Sue just put it in the comments. Coordinating cardstock is a must. And I know Sue, every time she buys a collection, she gets a coordinating cardstock. And I can't stress it enough because you don't have to think. You don't have to search through your cardstock. It is the perfect match. All right. So we love having the coordinating cardstock bundles. All right. So thanks, Sue, for believing in what I'm saying as well. So okay, so then there is, of course, the Creative Cuts. Sorry, mine are all a muck here. The Creative Cuts. All right, so you're going to get the package of Creative Cuts, which is basic from Uniquely Creative with every collection. This is the Creative Cuts, all right? So you can see that it's not all yellow, all right? There's a lot of kind of neutrals in there with the browns, an array of florals, butterflies, bees, and then some kind of vintagey pieces. There are some frames and hinges in there, which is great. So those are the Creative Cuts. And then this collection had the vellum cuts. And if you're not familiar with vellum cuts, these are pretty awesome. All right. And I will explain them a little bit more when we use them. I'm just going to flip this around. But this one will have more florals in there, butterflies, bees, and you even get some fruit in there. All right. So you got some apples and pears. All right. So that is the vellum cuts. Then with every collection we bring in from Uniquely Creative, it is the mini cut apart sheet. We love these because these are great little sentiments, whether you're in a journal, on card making, or on a layout. These are perfect. It's a full sheet and you're going to get that whole sentiment set 4 times on there. Now there's a matching die on there. I don't know where my die is. I had a little temper tantrum this afternoon because I could not find it. It's in a mess somewhere behind me on the floor. I know it's here, but I could not find it. So if you have the die, it makes it really easy. You place the die right on top of it. You've got your little guides there that you match up on your die, and then this cuts into perfect strips. When you don't have the die or you cannot find your die, you can use your paper trimmer and just cut them in. The difference is that you're not going to get perfect strips. All right, with the die you get perfect strips. But anyways, you can cut them with your paper trimmer, which I had to do. Okay, then there is this lovely acetate, a foiled acetate in a honeycomb pattern. And I know many of you last week bought this because I said I was going to use it in in tonight's live to do a replica of a past card that I've done that has been a hot item, and everyone wants to replicate it. So I said I'm going to be using the new collection to do it. So we're going to do that. But it's foiled. All right, so it's a gold honeycomb pattern. I'm the light reflecting off of it is not really showing you the gold. And on the back side is silver. All right, so you get a 2-for-1 there. There is a lovely kind of honeycomb pattern stencil. I love it because it's not a complete honeycomb. You've got that kind of distressed look on the side. Then there is a layered sunflower that matches beautifully, so we'll be using this one definitely tonight. There are these wonderful little paper flowers. They're glittery and sparkly and beautiful. We'll be using those. Of course, rub-ons. Love the rub-on. So this one has a lot more leaves in there. So to me, it really plays really well with this die, which we'll be using tonight. This here, if there's anything from the collection that you must have, it's going to be this die. And you'll see why. It is lovely. It's dainty. It is good filler. It's just beautiful. And I'm going to be using it lots tonight. So if you have not purchased this one and have some of the other collections, you're going to want this die. I'm going to tell you. All right. And then in this collection, we had the puffy alphabet stickers. I don't know if I'm using these tonight, but it came in gold and silver. And then the only other thing that I'm coordinating that is not new with this whole collection is the stitched hexagon. The stitched nesting hexagon dies, all right? They just kind of worked well with that honeycomb pattern within this collection. And of course, it's got stitching on it, so I'll be using this, all right? So it's kind of an overview of some of the products. I might have missed a few, but I will talk about them as we go through. And let's get started, all right? So we're gonna start with that lovely hexagon die because we're gonna make a shaped card. And we are going to combine it with this layered sunflower. You know me, I love my 3-dimensional florals. Sorry, I'm just, my mat was missing and I'm like, anyways. So we're going to start with this, all right? So many of you know I love doing 3-dimensional florals using Elizabeth Craft florals. And this one here, I loved it because the detail of the petals was really great. And the petals, the cut in between the petals went far enough that I can do some shaping on this, all right? So let's make a quick little card here. All right, here is that die cut out, all right? Here is that lovely die. Look how dainty and oh, I just love it. All right, it is beautiful. Okay, yes, it's going to be kind of silly to glue down. I know that, but it is beautiful, and you're going to see it how I use it for filler. All right. Sherry is saying that the waterfall die is a must have. Yes, Sherry, it is. And we're going to do a whole segment on that waterfall die on its own. I'm not going to be using it this evening, but I'm going to do it as a sole separate either Fun Friday. I think not this Friday, but to show you. In all honesty, we sold out of the die so quickly. And so we need to get more on order before I do show it. I like to have product in stock so that when I enable you all, it is there for you. So the waterfall die is not going to make an appearance this evening, but it is a very cool die for an interactive element, whether it be on a card, journal, or on a layout. It's pretty cool. And pretty easy to assemble as well. So we will tackle that on another time. But yeah, it is pretty cool. All right, so let's get started on this one here. So I took the liberty, and I probably should have pre-inked some of these now that I'm thinking about it. But, you know, it is what it is. If I we'll go quickly. It doesn't take me long to ink these. All right. So I just cut out a bunch of the die. All right. I cut it out 3 times, I believe. All right. Leaves, florals, and centers. Now there are 2 florals to this one. There's the base and then the top part. The top part is the one that has the detail on there. So let me just get myself situated. Now I die cut this out of Elizabeth Craft's soft finish paper. That is my favorite when it comes to flower making. I love the thickness of it. I love how it accepts inks, and I love how it shapes. So that is my go-to for 3-dimensional florals. Now, this floral has enough detail. If you were just to cut it out of yellow cardstock and mount it together, it would make a beautiful sunflower. It's going to look like that. All right. All right. So, but you know me, I love my dimensional florals. So we're going to add some shaping and all that to it. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to quickly ink these. And I am using fossilized amber. I really like this color when it comes. Yeah, I think it's a good sunflower color. You could do a couple of different colors of yellow. You could start with scattered straw and then use fossilized amber to give it some highlights. I'm just going in with a large brush and coating all of them. And I'm not worried if the color is not even. All right, I think that's what makes the 3-dimensional florals look fabulous. So you can see how quick and simple that was, especially when we're not doing no shading and such. All right, so that's easy. Done. Look how fast that was. All right, then we're going to do the centers. The centers we're going to do in brown. Oh, I forgot to grab a green ink. All right. No worries. All right, so brown. And the brown I chose was brushed corduroy. Why? Because that was the one that was on the top of my brown pile. So that's the one I chose. Which now I'm thinking probably should have been a little bit darker, but oh well. Oopsie, that one's upside down. All right. Sherry was sad when we were sold out when she went to order it. So Sherry, I will get more on order. I will be seeing Uniquely Creative next week. I am at a show next week, a big show. Craft Utopia is the name of the show. Lots of classes. And so we're heading down to Indianapolis. All right, green ink. Where are my green? So the show it starts on Monday. We have a special Monday. Michelle just texted me. She's like, "Holy man, do we have a lot of classes on Monday?" Yes, yes, we do. So the Monday is a special show just for Crafters Home, which we are a part of. And then Tuesday and Wednesday is classes with Craft Utopia. I think I'm taking 8 or 9 classes, and so is Michelle. And then we have our sample making frenzy. That is like 3 hours where we just go bounce from table to table and make samples with all the companies that are there. And there's a whole bunch of companies. So when Michelle and I do these shows, this sample making frenzy, we divide and conquer. That's how it is. But we end up always meeting at the end of the night and then just play together. But it's a great time. And then Thursday and Friday is order writing. So it is the trade show itself. Lots of orders will be written. So what I'm trying to tell you, Sherry, is I will order more of them if you have not picked it up elsewhere. Yes, so I picked Mowed Lawn, which is a little of a brighter green. So I might add a little brown. It's darker than I thought, but that's okay. All right. Do I want to do more brown? I think I just want to tone that down a little bit. All right. Oh, and then after the show is done, after the kind of the trade show part of it, then there is a great big paper party with Uniquely Creative, which I'm really excited about, just to kind of finish the whole kind of show up. And then we have a 1-day show with Ranger on the Saturday. So Monday to Saturday, it's going to be jam-packed. Looking forward to it. All right, we're going to do okay, we're going to do some shaping now. I thought I was all prepared. All right, Sherry, we'll make sure we hang on to one for you. All right, just going to get my molding mat here to do this. Okay. So I've got my specialized tools here, and that is my spoon. And we're going to go ahead and shape these now. So I'm just going to kind of take the tip of the spoon and I'm on the back side of the floral, and I'm just adding some pressure and pulling down, and we're going to shape that floral. All right, so we're going to do that for all of them. I should have done this off camera. You can see how easy it is to do this. Honestly, you could use a stylus, but what I have found using a stylus is that my hand cramps up, and I know a lot of you can relate. And you would have to, use in a rolling motion. Now, sometimes I do that with certain florals, but for the most part, I use a spoon. All right, so I find that gives me the best results. And if you wanted the petals to curl up, then you would shape from the front. You would pull it from the front. So I'm going to do that on this one, on a few of the petals. All right, whatever, you think a flower should be, then you do it. So I'm going to do that on a couple of these, the top one, I guess. I should have maybe colored the back side of this so we don't see the white, but it's okay. All right, I'm almost done. I would probably spend a little bit more time on this, everyone, but I'm rushing because I do have a lot planned for this evening. So I'd like to get the layouts done, and I'd like to get a few of the cards done. All right, so they are done. Now, normally I would use hot glue for this, but we're not going to add more heat into my studio here because I'm like dying as it is. So it's really warm in my studio. We have the air conditioner on, but and the fan is going on. Okay, so we're going to start with one of the base ones. Now, the base one is a little bit bigger, and it doesn't have the little details on there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer two bases together. I want this sunflower to be full. Do you need to have two bases? No, you do not. I just want my sunflower to be full. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick them and kind of offset the petals. And then I'm going to take a stylus and I'm going to kind of add some pressure where in the center to really kind of give that dimension. All right. And then I'm going to put a glob of glue in the center of that. And then I'm going to grab the one that's got the detail. All right. So that's got the detail on there. And then that one is going to go on top. And you can see, just adding a little bit of shaping really adds to this sunflower. And like I said, you can cut this out of regular yellow cardstock and just layer it flat, and it would be beautiful as well. But I love my three-dimensional florals. All right, so there is my lovely sunflower. Look how beautiful that is. I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to do the other ones here. So what do I have left here? I'm going to layer two again, two bases, offsetting. I'm going to grab my large stylus. Now, if you don't have a large stylus, just use the end of a pen. All right, something like this, something that's got a little bulk to it that you can press and create that kind of hole, not hole, but you're pushing in. All right, a little glob of glue, and now I'm going to put the top one on, offsetting. That top one, it's just slightly smaller. All right, but it's got the detail on there. All right, we're gonna let that one dry. And then I'm just gonna make one smaller one, slightly smaller. So what for this one here, I just cut two of the top layer, and we're gonna layer those together. All right, so, and this one's just gonna create a not so full. All right, so we've got some two full ones, and then one that's slightly smaller and not so full. Okay, so my florals are done. All right, so then we have the centers. Now I want to dome these out a little bit, so my larger stylus is going to work for this. Because I've shaped these ones, these little middle pieces are not going to lay flat on there, so I'm going to put a foam adhesive in there. So I want to dome this. So I'm just going to grab my large and stylus, and starting in the middle, I'm going to do little rotations, and I'm just doming that. All right, so hopefully you can see that I've domed that out. All right. So it's just a quick little rotating, starting in the center and then working your way out. All right. And then now I'm going to just stick a foam adhesive in the center of each of these sunflowers. And then I'm going to stick the centers in. So while I'm just doing this, thanks everyone for joining us this evening. We got lots of eyes on us tonight, which is lovely. It's hot out there, eh? Like, I didn't realize it was so hot out. I went out just to have a little break today, and I was like, whoa. But we do have a nice breeze here along the lake, which is awesome. So, all right. So, you know what? I think I might need 2 pop dots on here, or a bigger pop dot, because it's flattening out too much. So, there we go. Because of the shape of my florals, what I'm doing is I'm taking one large square foam adhesive, I'm sticking that on, and then I have put a small one in the center of my center here, and now we have a really nice looking sunflower. Okay, so there are my little sunflowers. Look how cute they are, right? Like, just so fun. It's a great dye, guys. Like, just wonderful. All right, let me just do a little shaping on these leaves, and then let's put our card together. Right, so it wasn't too bad to shape those pieces. So I'm just using my spoon again, and just giving those leaves a little shape. I don't know if I'm going to use these all. So some of them I'm shaping from the back side, some of them I'm shaping from the front side. All right, done. Okay, put my spoon back, put my okay. And we'll put those down there. Okay, so we're gonna make a lovely shaped card with this one. So I use that lovely stitched hexagon from Uniquely Creative. I use the outside piece. All right, and I cut 2 of them, all right, in white cardstock. All right, so that's gonna be my card base. I do this with a lot of shaped dies. I love shaped dies. I think they're investment pieces, and I love making shaped cards. So I have 2. This will be my front, this will be my back. To make a shaped card, what you're going to do is take the back one and you're going to score it. All right, so that's going to create the fold of the card. So I'm going to grab this, and we are going to, I'm going to score it at 3/4 of an inch from what will be my top. So I'm using the straight edge. That's going to be the top. I'm lining that at my 3/4 inch mark, and I'm going to use my score blade, and I'm going to score that right along there. And that's going to create that score line. Then I'm going to fold that using my bone folder to crisp up that. So that's, the card will now know that's where it's got to fold up and down. All right. So that's going to be the fold mechanism on our card. We're going to put adhesive just along that, or just above that score line. And then we're going to take our other piece and we're going to match it up. Okay. Allow that glue to dry before opening and closing it. All right, just make sure everything's matched up. Now I like to use liquid glue on this just in case things are not matching up. You have that little time to shimmy it. All right, so there is our card. All right, so I'm just going to open this. So, but what will happen is when the person opens it, it's that fold on the back. All right, so this will remain with no folds on it. This is going to open up, and that is our shaped card. All right. Makes it a little bit special. All right, now let's go ahead and just now start decorating this. Now, I think I might use some of the rub-ons on this one here. I might not use these leaves just because I love those little rub-ons. And let's go for it. So for the Uniquely Creative, there's only one sheet of rub-ons in their pack. And I'm going to go ahead, see, because I did these two green, I'm going to use one that's more the green I wanted. So I'm going to grab this leaf here. Or maybe, okay, I will use the leaves. I'm going to use this guy here. Changing my mind. And let's do this one here. And this one here. All right. So I just picked 3 random ones. All right. Those are the 3 that I chose. Now, my idea is I'm going to have these 2 down here, one up here, and then we'll have, well, maybe I will just, maybe I'll just do 2. All right. So then I want some of this coming out from this little piece of loveliness that I've created in the corner. Okay. Let's just go for it. All right, so I'm going to take this one here and we're going to put this kind of up the side here. And I'm going to keep everything in amongst the parameters of the hexagon. All right, so I fussy cut those out like they're just rough cut out. All right, and then I've taken the backing off, and then I'm just going to use my bone folder here because it's got a nice straight edge. Perfect for rub-ons. You could run this through your die cut machine, but then I find it flattens out the kind of the stitching pattern a little bit. So that's why I'm choosing 2. All right. I slowly remove it and look how beautiful that rub-on went on. Oh. All right. Let's continue on. Now I'm going to overlap this one just so slightly. That's the beauty of rub-ons. You can like go over top of them. Rub-on on top of rub-on. Beautiful. And let's go with this one here. So I still have room for a sentiment, which I don't, oh, I can use one of those sentiment strips. I was going to say I don't have a stamp to put on here, but I have a lovely mini cut parts. Okay, so there's my little rub-ons. They turned out beautifully. They came on lovely. All right, so I might just do the 2. I might just do 2 here. I don't know. I might use this one afterwards. I don't know. Okay, let's just go ahead and glue these on. Stop overthinking it, Brenda. And those rub-ons just create a little bit of background in there. So now I could go in. Yeah, I'm going to go in with these leaves, even though I don't like the color of them. Okay, so I always put my flowers on first, and then I will tuck my leaves and such in afterwards. This way I can get perfect placement, as I call. All right. All right. One up there. All right, I think that will be good. All right, now I'm going to take this panel. Now, sorry, I didn't talk about the pattern paper. This came from the 6x6 pad, and I just went one step down. All right, so the largest one was the outside, and then I went one down to create that layer. All right, so now I'm just going to glue that on. I just see a question there from Erin. Do you ever use those sticky dot things to put flowers on, or always glue? What holds better? Now, normally, Erin, I would make sure I have my card up front here. Normally, I would use hot glue because they are bulky. Those florals are. You can use glue dots. I think that's what you're referring to as the glue dots. But typically I think my glue is always there, so I grab that. Most paper crafting glue has a strong hold, so you should be good if you put enough on there. But normally when I make my three-dimensional florals, I do use hot glue, all right? It's just I did not plug mine in ahead of time, and it's way too hot in my studio to even add any more heat here. All right, so I'm wondering, well, maybe we should put that one right there. We still have room for a sentiment. Let's not waste it. Let's put it on. So you can use those glue dots. They do, they're pretty strong. They're good for like buttons and heavier items. So you could definitely use those glue dots. Sometimes I find them a little finicky. If you were to see my glue dots, they're on the second shelf of my little trolley here, and they're all messed up. So they're always a hot mess. So, all right. Let's put a couple leaves with this guy. Now it's okay if I went off the edge with my leaves and such, because honestly, you're gonna have to put this in a square envelope. You're gonna have extra room. All right, so okay. So there's that. Let's grab a little sentiment. Wishing you a lovely day. I didn't cut that one very well. I think I want something a little bit smaller. Oh, how about be happy? Buzzing by, best day ever. A little something. Oh, that's cute. Okay, let's do that one. So this has got like it's on a printed on a very kind of light yellowy green background. So I do want to add just a little yellow to this, or maybe I'll do brown because I have my brown here. All right, so this is just one of my foam daubers here, and I was using it for a different project, and I left it on my table, so we're doing brown. All right, so let's just edge that, and then we can go ahead and pop that on, and that one is done. All right, those flowers, really easy to do three-dimensional florals. I know I've shown three-dimensional florals before using Elizabeth Crafts. This is an easy set because there's only two florals in there, the center and the leaves. Really easy, and price point on it's really nice as well. So I think I want to bring it over just to the right a little bit. All right, there we go. There is our first little card. That one's going to be the one that takes the most. All right. All right. So there is my little shaped card. All right. A little something. All right. Beautiful little card. Love those rub-ons. Oh my gosh. Love those rub-ons. Okay. Card number one is complete. All right. So if anyone has any questions about, oh, I was going to stick, I forgot about this beautiful little die cut. All right, I'm going to use it as filler. All right, so as you can see, it's got like a rough edge. All right, which is awesome. And so what I love about this is I can go in and just continue kind of cutting it apart, and it will look like it was supposed to be like that. All right, so I've got two little pieces here, and now I'm going to lift up my petals here. All right, lift them up. I'm going to grab my little piece here, and I'm just going to put glue at the one end. This is the end that's going to kind of tuck underneath those florals. I've gone a little heavy with the glue, all right, but that's okay. And we're just going to now stick it underneath those petals, give it a little pressure, and then be done with it. Don't fuss with it. All right, and this one I'm just going to trim down a little bit. This is just, I love this little filler. And this one here, we're going to lift up the petals here. And let's add some glue. And let's stick that down. And I'm okay if it hangs over top of our little, oh my gosh, that added to it. All right, so that just adds some texture in there. I love it. You know what? I got to use this piece. So do we put it up here? I'm going to put it down here. All right, so I'm going to use this piece. I don't want it to go to waste. It's too pretty. Not that this honeycomb pattern is pretty, but you know what I mean. All right, let's just stick that down in underneath there, give it a little pressure and be done with it. All right, there. Now it is complete. All right, so that little honeycomb just adds. I love it. That's the honeycomb texture tag, guys. You gotta have it. You gotta have it. All right, card number 1 is done. Let us continue on. And let's do the replica card. All right, so this is the card I did a while ago. And all of a sudden, it's become super popular. And this week alone, it was super. And I had a group in the other day. And then we had people over the weekend inquiring about it. So we just said, we're doing it this today on What's Up Wednesday. So I did this, and it was, I think, a fun Friday where I showed you in terms of what you can do with this foiled acetate. All right. So we're going to replicate this because so many of you wanted the exact pattern paper and these creative cuts. But here's the thing with Uniquely Creative. When they come out with a line, they run it, and once it's done, it's done. I can't get it no more. All right. So that's why you have to act on these things when the time is. All right. So so this was Bohemian Escape. So I can't get the creative cuts no more, and I can't get the 6x6 no more. We do have the rub-ons in stock because I stocked up on them because these are awesome rub-ons. And we do still have the distressed brick acetate as well as this floral one. But I'm going to show you how to use that acetate to make a really quick shaker card using the creative cuts. All right, so we're going to replicate these cards. All right, the same design, but using this this collection. Okay, so Uniquely Creative has the Polaroid kind of frames. So on this one here, this is a Uniquely Creative. They have a package of, I think, 10 Polaroids, 5 of the large size, and then 5 smaller size. All right. They make great shaker cards or shaker elements you can build onto it. I don't have any here. We do have them on our store, on our website. I thought I had a pack here, but I don't. So the other alternative is, well, I'll give you 2 alternatives. Is that I'm using a die from Spellbinders. And this one is called Memory Frames. And it has a Polaroid in there. And that is what this die on this card is. All right. So it does that Polaroid frame. I'm not sure if we have it in stock. But this is a die that we can definitely get in stock really easy. Now, the other thing that you can do if you don't want to invest in the die and you have rectangle and square dies at home in your stash, you can take a rectangle die and then sit a square die up near the top to create that Polaroid. All right. It's a double cut that you've got to do, but that's just a way that you can create your own Polaroid. All right. You're just creating a frame. All right. So I've taken no, I have not taken the liberty. Yes, I have taken the liberty. All right. I've already pre-cutting and die cutting my Polaroid frame, and I just did it out of white cardstock. All right. So that's what I've done there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back this up now with the acetate. Now, this acetate is 1 12 by 12 sheet. So if you're a card maker, you're going to get lots out of here. If you are someone that does scrapbooking, this is great little accents. Just like on my card that I did here, you can cut little bits and pieces of this and stuck it behind your photos and such as filler, and it just creates a really nice embellishment. Okay, so we want a piece that's going to fit behind here. Now, this is a pretty busy pattern. We're going to break it up with some of those rub-ons. So I'm just going to cut. I'm just rough cut. You can measure and you can use your paper trimmer if you choose to. I'm just going to rough cut this out. And I want the gold showing. All right, but before I do that, I do want to add a leaf rub-on here. Now this is really cool because I love doing rub-ons on, you know, different things, and everyone has that aha moment, like, oh my gosh, I never thought about putting rub-ons on that. All right, so rub-ons on acetate, absolutely. Rub-ons on vellum, absolutely. Rub-on on candles, yes, you can do that. It's a very unique thing. And at Christmas time, you can make some beautiful decor items with rub-ons on and put them on candles. All right. So anyways, rub-ons go on lots of different things. So I'm just going to take this kind of leafy branch here, and I'm going to place it kind of right on top of our acetate. All right, Michelle, I see your comment there. We will definitely get that Polaroid frame on order for you if it's not in stock. We will look tomorrow, and if not, we'll get it for you. All right. So I'm just going to use my bone folder again, and again, I could go through my die cut machine. All right. I like to go slow just in case I didn't get all the tips. Oops. All the bits and pieces. Okay, so there's my rub-on there. Oh, I love it. Okay, that's just going to add a little extra interest in the background. All right, so it's just going to break up the busyness of this pattern. Okay, so one rub-on should be enough. We're going to go ahead now and attach this piece of acetate behind our Polaroid frame. All right, I'm just wondering, should I do another one? I think I want to do another. I'm going to do this little wispy one on the right hand side. All right, sorry guys. All right, always pull back your release sheet slowly in case you missed anything, because then you can just go back and place it down and it will go in the same position. Beautiful. All right. All right, look at how pretty that is. I love it. All right, so those are stuck on nicely. All right, now we are going to go ahead and attach this piece of acetate behind our Polaroid frame. All right, so I'm using 1/8 of an inch double-sided tape. That's going to fit nicely around the frame of this, and I'm going around the whole perimeter of the frame. All right, and now we can go ahead and attach that. Oh my goodness, I've been on for 40 minutes already. I'm not even have my second card done. All right, we're gonna have to pick and choose. Well, we'll see. We'll see how far I can get. Okay, so this is going to go down. All right, so the gold side is going to go to the good side. All right, so I'm going to just stick that down. All right, and now we have that there. Okay, I'm going to leave that to the side now, and let's just talk about my card base here. So I have my card base in white. Then I cut a piece of that lovely yellow cardstock that matches this collection. And then I have a piece of the 6x6 paper, all right, that I just cut down. Measurements on this are, this is 4 by 5 1/4. This is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and then our regular card base, A2 card base. All right, so we're just getting a hint of that yellow behind there. So let's go ahead and add that. Erin says she loves a Polaroid die. Yeah, it's a good one to have in your stash. I go to it all the time. Not only just to make shaker cards, but it's just a nice little frame for card making as well as memory making as well. All right, so if you're using them in journals or on your layouts. All right, and then this is just going to go on there. So this is just going to be, see, there's the lighter color. All right, and there's the darker color. Either or would have worked on here. All right, so you're just going to cut down a piece of pattern paper. Now this one I chose because it had some florals in the corners just to create a little interest, but any of the pattern papers in this collection would have worked. All right, so there is that. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and put our Polaroid frame on here. We're gonna pop this up with some foam adhesive. So we're gonna use my strips here. So again, I love these strips because they're 1/8 of an inch. So they are going to work perfectly on this Polaroid frame. So I'm gonna go around, matching up so that there's no openings for my shaker elements to fall out. So make sure all the little pieces are butt up to each other. And I'm just going to put some extra little pieces at the bottom just so that they don't lie flat. All right, so there is that. And now this is going to go on. We're going to put this at a bit of an angle here. Now I do need shaker elements, which I forgot to grab. Okay. So what do I got that I can use? I got some gold sequins. The ones I really want to use, I think I've used up. I had lovely iridescent clear ones from Lawn Fawn, and I've used them all up. But I do have other ones here. So we're going to do a combination of some gold, and I don't know what these ones are from. These are clear ones from something. And then I also, these are the insides from that die. So when I trimmed out this die cut here, all right, that honeycomb die cut, I saved all the centers. Now I'm going to use them in my shaker card. Don't want to waste them. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place the shaker elements kind of on my card in the center. I'm going to spread them out. Sorry, I want the dark color showing. So I've got to pick these all up separately. And I don't think I need them all. You know what? I don't think I'm going to use the gold sequence. I think I'm just going to go with these and then the iridescent ones. Okay. So let's just, these aren't really iridescent. Well, maybe they have a little shine to them. Not the ones I wanted. Well, maybe they are. Okay. We're going to just put a pile in the center. And then I like to flatten them out and move them around, keeping them in the area that's kind of in the center of what my Polaroid will be. All right, my frame. All right. Okay, that's good. I'll double check. Move it over a little bit. All right. That is good. So all my little pile of goodness is there. Now I can go ahead, remove the backings from my foam adhesive. And then we're going to stick this on and give it a little burnish so that that sticks nicely. All right, so we're going to put this at an angle. All right, I'm committing. All right. All right, so now we're going to get that movement behind there. The center stage is still that foiled acetate, which is lovely, but now we're going to get movement on there, and that clear iridescent one is really awesome. I have a pile that they're all stuck at the bottom here. All right, now they're moving around. All right, now they're moving. All right, and you just see that movement behind there. All right, so we've got that on there. Now we're going to go to our creative cuts, and I just grabbed one of the bouquets here, and that's going to go right on here. We want the stems coming from this so that they're not floating. All right, this floral arrangement that's on there is just kind of matching up with this floral. I don't have to do much with this. This is awesome. So let me just, and I'm going to pop this up with some foam. And we're just going to stick that right on the corner there. Beautiful. And then to finish this one off, we're going to put a little butterfly on here. All right, this came from the Creative Cuts as well. All right, so we can just stick that on the corner here, making sure everything is in the parameter of the card. And then we can pick a little saying. Now, I have a feeling that I don't have much space. I cannot use be happy on there because I didn't use a B, but I don't think with sympathy would be appropriate. You got this. Let's do that. So I'm going to, I might cut this into 2 strips. And again, this is the mini cut apart sheet with all the sentiments. And we're going to pop this up as well. So I'm just going to put some foam adhesive behind it. And let's try to get it on straight, Brenda. And I've just offset them. All right, so there we go. I've got a little foam adhesive stuck in there. There we go. All right, so there it is with our little shaker. And look how pretty that is. So that is the same thing what we did like a while ago with these cards. And it's just another version of that. All right. So I just love them all. All right. So again, this one's a little bit busier, but that's okay. It still works. You still get that movement on there. And those, sorry, the light is not hitting it properly. There, you can see the rub-ons on there are just beautiful. All right. So there we go. Card number 2. All right, let me just tidy up a little bit here. Oh, you know what? This was supposed to go behind. That's okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, let's do, I'm gonna do one more card and then we're gonna flip to layouts, all right? So let me just see what I got here. I wanna use, I'm gonna do this one. This one's a kind of a fun one. We're gonna do a ripping technique with this one and the stencil. Let's do this one. I'm going to flip over to the layouts. And then the other ones I will finish maybe this evening and I'll post them all together because they're really just cut and paste type of things. All right. So, okay. So I have my card base here, an A2 card base. And we are going to do kind of a ripping technique. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that stencil and stencil that honeycomb pattern on. All right, so I love this honeycomb pattern because first of all, it's not complete. So if you wanted more of a random look, you can use that one corner. But I love the daintiness of this. It's usually when you see a honeycomb pattern, it's much larger than this. So this is really great because it makes it really great for card making. All right, so I just want this honeycomb pattern kind of in the center here. So I'm going to bring this down and I'm just going to use whatever yellow's left on my brush here, and I'm just going to and I might just kind of line this up and add a little bit more. Just faintly. All right. Easy peasy. I mean, look how beautiful that is. Love it. I love the daintiness of it. Okay, so that's going to be kind of on our middle part. And now what we're going to do is we are going to just do kind of a fun ripping technique. All right. So I grabbed another piece of paper. And this is the coordinating cardstock. And I did it the same size as my A2 card. All right. So 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. All right. And I'm going to now just rip a piece for the top and then a piece for the bottom. All right. You want to keep it so that we can see that honeycomb pattern. All right. All right. So we are going to roll this. All right, and again, we love this because it's got a white core, so now we've added another color. And then if you roll it enough, you're gonna get that secondary color from the back on there. All right, so this is just an easy kind of card. You can do this with pattern paper as well. We're keeping it simple. All right, then this is not the same side. Well, you know what? I can use this one. All right, so I'm going to use this as a scrap because what we're going to do is now we're going to flip this over. This is why I love this paper, because you get the 2 for 1. All right, so now I'm going to put glue along the one edge, along ripped edge, and I'm going to glue it behind here. And let that glue dry. And now I'm going to mimic that rip now with, all right, I'm going to keep it pretty close. Doesn't need to be perfect. All right, so now we've got this layered two-toned ripped effect. All right, we're going to do the same thing with the bottom piece. I'm going to put glue right along the edge here. And then we're going to glue this behind. Actually, that rip is pretty close to what that is, so I'm going to just leave it as is. So you only need one extra piece of paper for this. Okay, and now you can kind of roll this up. And again, you're going to get that lovely texture. I'm not usually a ripper, but I saw this on a sample and I thought that's effective. And it's just another great way of using a stencil to create some interest in the center of a card. All right, so now this is going to go here and go there, and we've got that little bit of pattern showing through. So when I glue this, I'm going to glue just the kind of outer edges. All right, so the left, the bottom, and the right. And I don't want to go along the ripped edge because we're going to tuck things in. All right. Okay. The top piece will be the top left and right. All right, so we're gluing, putting adhesive everywhere but the ripped edge. And you're just going to match that up. And I like using liquid glue just in case you don't have it lined up properly. You can shimmy it. All right. So that's, a real easy way, just a great way to use that two-toned paper. All right, and then from the Creative Cuts, I have a lovely little sunflower stem, and I thought we could just poke that in there, all right? And I'm gonna use some foam adhesives along the heads of the florals. And again, this floral came from the Creative Cuts from this collection. Now, if you wanted to add just a little bit more texture on this, you could definitely, instead of using the colored cardstock, you could definitely use some of the powdered paper. All right, so there is that, and then I have the word with love, and again, that came from the Creative Cuts. So let's pop that up. It's a really simple and easy card. All right, and let's just put with love, making sure that it's straight. I don't think that went on straight, but we're just going to commit to it. All right, so we have that. And then these are the cute little bumblebees that are in the Creative Cuts. Look how sweet they are. All right, they look like real ones. All right, and let's go ahead and place these on here. I think we need to pop them up. So I think this would be quite effective as well with the pattern papers. if you wanted a little bit more texture and design. But if you would like it more on, emphasis on those florals to have them stand out, then you can just use the plain cardstock. Have them kind of going to land on those little sunflowers. All right, so quick and simple card. I love the stencil in the background. And you know what? You could go even. Can you tell I'm not loving the cardstock? It's too plain for me. All right, so I'm just going to place the stencil on the cardstock and just use whatever ink. And I'm just creating some texture on there. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not loving just the plain cardstock, but that's just me. That's a me issue. I love like playing with textures and designs. So, all right. I know you for the camera probably can't even see that, but it's there and it's making me very, very happy. It's very faint on there. Can you see it? Yeah, the camera's just kind of, all right. So it just adds a little bit of texture on the paper and now I make it and now I'm happy about that. All right. So just a really quick and simple card. Okay, 3 cards done. Let's transition over to layouts now. So let me just kind of tidy up a little bit here. I was going to do 2 more cards, but I really want to do layouts because I know a lot of you really appreciate when I do layouts. So swipe that right off. Okay. Okay, so let's start. I forgot to show you this piece of this collection as well. There was also an overlay in this collection. All right, so this is the honeycomb overlay. And we get a lot of people asking, what do we do with them? All right, so I thought it was really important that maybe I should show you what you could do with this. All right, so this here, you can house photos behind it and you could put photos behind all of them. To me, that might be a little overkill. So I would put photos in maybe, 4 of them and then add pattern paper or such behind the other ones. All right, so these are meant to house photos in a fun themed way. All right, so I just grabbed a piece of the pattern paper from the 12 by 12. Look how gorgeous this is. All right, so we've got these lovely little floral sprays at the bottom. We've got a striped distressed look here. We've got some script in the background, just lovely. All right, and then we're going to use this overlay. Now I don't have any pictures, but normally you would have your pictures ready to go and then you could put your pictures right underneath here. The other thing you can do if you don't have your pictures right away is that you can just trace the inside of one of these hexagons on a piece of scrap paper and then cut it a little bit larger. So cut outside your penciled line. And then you can use that as a template to cut your pictures and then you can put them in afterwards. All right. Now, to me, that white is a little too stark. All right, so we're gonna dirty it up. All right, and we're gonna use ink. So these are like a thinner cardstock. I would say it's probably about an 80 pound, and they usually come in white. And you can ink them. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. I'll use this side because there's no ink on here. So I'm going to go ahead and do this as yellow. So I'm just going to use that fossilized amber again. I'm not going to add too much ink. I'm just going to grab a little bit and I'm okay if I get darker tones and lighter tones on here. So we're just going to dirty this up. All right. So I'm good if we have lighter bits and pieces here. I know I'm shaking the camera and I'm going to have to add a little bit more, just to make it go a little bit faster. And I might add just a little bit of that brush corduroy as well. And I want a little bit of darker areas. So Okay. So you can see I have darker areas, lighter areas, and I'm good with that. All right, so there's that. Then I'm gonna grab the brush corduroy and let's just add a little bit of this here and there. All right, so there we go. Overlay is now colored. All right, so those overlays, yes, you can ink them up. I'll clean that up afterwards. All right, so I'm not going to do much layering on this. I could grab some more of the pattern papers and layer it behind, but I just thought I would keep this pretty simple. Remember, there'll be pictures behind here. Maybe I'll grab my photo mats. Oh, another pair of scissors. I always get excited. I have about 18 pairs of scissors, and and then there's always just one on my desk, right? So when I find out one of the missing pairs of scissors, I get excited. So now we got two back on my station here. All right, so these are just the little photo mats in here. So maybe that's what I'll put on there, just so that that's going to house that picture. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to put a picture. I think I'm going to position it this way. So let's put a picture there. One in the center, one here, and maybe one. Oh, the decisions. All right. Well, let's just. I will cut these out afterwards. I'm not going to take the time to do that because I really want to get this done. But we're going to put a picture in the center and those ones there. All right. So first, let's glue this down. So when I glue this down, because I still have to put my pictures in there, I'm just going to put little dots here and there just to secure it down. Hopefully you would have your pictures. Now, this kind of like almost just speaks to me. There's a gap in here, so that just speaks to me. That's where one of the honeycombs should like fit in. That's what I love about these papers from Uniquely Creative. They make it really easy to design with, all right? Okay, so I should have maybe, I have pattern pieces of hexagons. Now I use that hexagon die cut, that stitched one, because it kind of works really well. Now, if you didn't have the hexagon, you could cut pattern papers that go behind here, but I thought I'd pop these ones up. So I just did random ones. These actually came from the pattern paper. They had hexagons on one of the printed papers, and I just used it. All right. So so let me, I said I was going to do here, here, no. Here, here, and here. All right, so maybe I'll do the 4 pictures there. All right, and then these guys I'm going to pop up. I really like that hexagon stitched on there. It just adds another bit of texture on there, but I do want to pop these up. So I'm going to just stick a few. And this is a great way of using the pattern papers in the collection pack, especially if you've cut them down a little bit and you have scraps, then you can go ahead and just cut them. So just going to do this real quick. All right, so that now we've got some dimension on there because we popped them up, which is lovely. Remember, pictures are going to go in each of those, and I'm going to cut them in as hexagons, and I'll place them on there. That's where my pictures are going to be. All right, so then I have, what I did is I then took this one of the smaller dies of the hexagons, and now I just cut smaller ones. I have a few other ones here too. And I just thought we could layer these on, just to mimic this kind of pattern. All right. So Again, we're going to have pictures there. So for these ones here, I'm going to do a double pop dot. I need larger ones. 1 second. All right, so we're gonna have one overlapping here. So I'm gonna place my pop foam adhesive and then put another one on. So now we're gonna create even more dimension, and that's gonna be this guy here. Actually, you know what? I lied. I don't want that one there. I want this one here. A little too much florals going on. The other one I'm going to put over in this area. And then this one here in this area. Okay, so there's kind of my base. All right, that's what I'm working on. Picture, 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 picture there. All right, really simple. It's just one piece of paper. We've got the overlay. Of course, I've added the hexagon, but you know, I think a hexagon shape is really trendy right now. It's just a nice, you know, element. But you could actually fussy cut them and put them behind if you wanted to. But then look how beautiful that is. It's just really simple to do. All right, so then before we put a title and some florals, I want to take a look at the vellum cuts because I really want to talk about these vellum cuts. If you're not familiar with these, this is kind of like mind-blowing. These are just awesome. There's a whole lot in a pack. I'm just emptying it into my little tray here. All right. So these are the vellum cuts, and you'll get 2 of each of the designs in there. So I'm just going to grab, one of these florals. It might be a little too big. Okay, let's go. I'm going to go with one kind of, florals are not cooperating with me. Okay, let's just stick a little floral here. I know a picture is going to go here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do an angle cut because I don't want to waste this goodness. So I'm just going to angle cut this. All right. Now the trickiest part of these ones, these are adhesive backed, all right? If you flick the edge, they will start separating, all right? So this is like printed vellum that's got stickiness on it, and then there's like an acetate backing, all right? So we're taking the backing off. And now I'm going to position this behind here, making sure I don't have any straight edges showing. And honestly, it just kind of blends into the background. It's kind of like a rub-on almost. It just blends into the background. You're going to burnish it really well, and then it just becomes part of your background. Again, remember, there's going to be a photo there, so you won't see that hard edge on there, all right? So it's just a great way to add a little bit more of that floral detail with these bits and pieces, all right? So let's go ahead and add this one. The hardest part is getting these started, all right? But the more you use them, the easier they become, and you just have to flick that edge until it starts to roll, and then you can peel them off, okay? So I want to put this over here. Sorry, I just took that off because I want to stick this behind, or butt it up at least. There we go. All right, you really want to burnish them well so we get no air bubbles in there and they really tack down nicely. Okay. All right, so now we're just getting little bits and pieces. So you can just add a little bit more to that kind of floral with those vellum cuts. They're awesome. All right, I'm going to do one more. I want something on this one. I want to have, is there a small little cluster here? Maybe I'll just put a butterfly on there or bees. All right, I don't think I have a small. All right, so I'm going to put a bee on this one here. So again, you're just going to flick it until it comes off. And then we're going to stick this little bee right in the center of this little hexagon and burnish well. And it just looks like it's a rub on there. Like, ah, awesome. All right, I feel like we should have something down on this one, but I will wait. Okay, so there, those are the vellum cuts. Now let's go ahead and I'm gonna grab a title here. Golden Days. The little details. Maybe we'll do that one. Maybe I'll do this here. All right, so we'll put the little details there. I like that because remember, picture, picture, picture. I think black and white photos would be awesome on here. Just saying. I'll have to take some pictures of Craig. It's funny. I don't scrapbook. I'm as like I used to, anyways. A lot of my layouts are for store purposes, but I should. All right, it's the little details. That's exactly what I'm doing with this layout. It's the little details. All right. So I mean that's really simple to do. I've got some of this filler. Love this filler. Let's add a little bit of this now. All right. So I'm going to use this one in its entirety. So I'm just going to put, if you had spray adhesive, this would be great. But I'm just going to put it along the edge that's going to be kind of tucked underneath because I like things being light and airy and flowy. And so let's just. Again, there'll be a picture here. You will not see that little piece there, but that just adds some texture there, which is lovely. All right, let's add a little bit more. I'm going to cut this piece here. And let's stick that there. And this I just used, I had cut a piece of pattern paper from a 6x6 for a card size. And this was the little piece that was left over, the little strip that was left over. So I was able to get 2 of those little pieces from that strip. So there's no waste. All right, there's that. I always like to work in 3. So we got 1, 2, and I think we need a piece down here. So let's grab this other little piece here and let's just stick that there for some texture down there. All right, place, push, and be done with it. All right. So, all right, I don't think I need much more on there. I mean, honestly, I'll put the pictures. I'm going to cut these out of hexagons. I'll stick them on so you can kind of see that. I may splatter this with a little bit of either black or white, or maybe even gold. And then that's done. I mean, so that's a really easy way of, or a way of using the overlays. All right. So if you're not familiar with those, you can ink them. All right. And again, use pattern paper to break up that overlay. You don't have to put a picture behind each of the openings. But yeah, so there is, I mean, really simple. All right. Now, if you're doing a double page spread on this, I know a lot of people like when I do double page spreads. This one would be quite easy because this would be your focal one. And then you could do the matching paper, all right, because there's 2 of each of the pattern papers in the collection pack. You could use that and then just do rectangle ones on this side, or use, if you had the hexagon die, you could do 4 kind of larger hexagons and made it really simple, again, using some of those elements that we did, those vellum cuts and the filler, as I call it. All right, so let's do one more layout. All right, so I've got some time. Let's do one more layout. And then I think that we'll call it a night. All right. So ambitious tonight. Ambitious. All right. Okay. So again, it'll be a single page layout. All right. This one here, I cut a bunch of hexagons from the pattern paper. So this came from the 12 by 12. And I just picked a background that was more of a neutral pattern. All right. It just looks like it's plaster on there. And I forgot to cut out the logo strip here. So I'm just going to trim that off the logo strip. What I love about Uniquely Creative, their logo strips, one side will be their logo, the other side is always a pattern paper, which is always fun to use. Okay, so this is going to be my base, all right? And then I just thought we would take the hexagons and create a honeycomb effect on the background here, all right? So we're just building up texture on our background. Now you could do this, we're doing it with hexagons, but you could do this kind of same thing with squares and do more of a quilted pattern look. So, you know, have some fun with your die cuts if you have die cuts or your dies, because, you know, they can make some interesting backgrounds. All right, so I did 4 patterns here, so I'm just going to I don't want it perfectly symmetrical either, so I am going to I think that's good. All right. I'm okay with it hanging off the edge here. You could go ahead and ink this, but I'm not going to for time purposes. So I'm just going to quickly glue these down. So you want to keep your spacing the same. And it's always important to get that first one straight because that's going to be the one that is going to dictate where your other ones are going to go. All right, so that one I used my grid system on my board to do that. So, all right, so now I'm going to keep the spacing here about like 1/8 of an inch and matching the points to the points. Sorry guys, this is I'm like I literally want to stick my tongue out to the left-hand side while I'm gluing these down. I don't think that one is straight. It's hard when the camera stand is in the way. I can't get that perfect bird's eye view. So I'm sorry if you guys see in the back of my head right now. Okay. Again, a great way to use scraps of paper as well. You just need a paper that kind of coordinates in terms of color. The patterns, if the color coordinates, then the patterns will work, all right? But you'll notice that some of these are a little bit bolder patterns than others. So you don't want all bold patterns. You want to mix and match with some more subdued, but if the color tone is all the same, it should work. Okay, I don't know if that's the same pattern I had, but that's what we're going for. Okay. All right, there's my base now. I'm just going to trim off that top one where it overhangs. Okay. All right, so let's just add some basic elements on here now. All right, I don't want to overwhelm you. I mean, we could do the same, and if you had the hexagon die cut, you could cut pictures in hexagon and fill them in here. But on the insert page, this is from the 12 by 12 collection that comes in the collection pack. On the back is always a cutaway. And I thought, oh, there's a great frame in there. So I'm going to cut this out. And this is going to house, you know, that focal picture. All right, so this is easy to fussy cut out because it's all straight edges. And if you are worried about, you know, cutting this out, you could definitely use your paper trimmer. And always ink the edges to camouflage, you know, if you're not the world's greatest cutter, that's okay. Ink camouflages it. And this has got a kind of a distressed, it's not straight by any means. So now, if you wanted to, you could go in and cut the inside, which I'm going to do, out. or you could just house your picture on top. But I think it always looks nice when the picture is kind of set back behind the frame. And again, you could use your paper trimmer, or if you're really talented, you could use a craft knife with a ruler. I'm just going to use my scissors. All right. Okay, so now I think what I'll do is I probably didn't need that one because now I'm going to just cover it. All right, so not good planning on my part, but anyways, doesn't matter. All right, so that's where my picture is going to go. And then in the Creative Cuts, we've got these cute little ornate frames as well, which would be just kind of lovely as a little grouping maybe here. All right, so this is going to house a kind of a larger focal picture and then two smaller pictures. All right, so that is kind of where I'm going. And then we have a title here, The Sweet Life. All right, so there is that. You can see how easy it is to put together. And then it's just a matter of, oh, there's other frames here too. Ooh, I'm wondering, I'm going to take one of these out and I'm going to put this one, I think. All right, then it's just, I'm going to add some florals here. So let me get these frames down. So I like to use my placeholders here. So I'm just going to grab, I think this one here is going to be like a 5x7. That's going to fit on there nicely. So I'm going to just glue that on because it's just my placeholder. It's not a true 5x7. I realize that, but it's going to just hold the spot for my photo here. I find when I have a placeholder, it just makes the layout look so much better. So you don't see all that background stuff that you're not supposed to see. Okay. See, now that just kind of grounds that nicely. All right, so I need placeholders for my little guys now. Sorry, got to do it. All right, so this one here is going to be a 2x2 photo. Ooh, good idea, Sherry. I'll mention that when I'm in my meeting with Uniquely Creative. So I would like to see that too. I would like to see where the rest of my photo mats are. Okay, and then this one here, I'm going to use a 2x3. It's not quite, but we're going to just do it. Duh. Thank you, Michelle. I'm trying to do more layouts. I know everyone loves the layouts component. It can't always be cards. I just find cards I fit so much more in an hour, but I'm trying to do more layouts. So, okay. I will. I centered that on there. It wasn't very smart because now I got to cut all the edges. Okay, photo mat. Sorry, guys. It helps with the layout. Okay. All right, there we go. We've got the Sweet Life here. Let's stick these down now. I'm going to pop this one up. And when I pop things up on a layout, well, even on cards, I don't put my foam adhesive right to the edges just because I like to tuck things in. So I'm just going to do some few strips here. I've got to hurry up now. We're getting quite late now. Okay, so something like so. All right, this one here, we're going to pop up as well. All our photos will be popped up. So we'll go one here, and then all right, and then this one here, we're going to just offset it. Okay, let's get our title on. And then I'm just going to add some florals, and then this one will be done. I might add some of the vellum cuts as well. Okay, so there's kind of the base of our layout now. So let's just add some lovely texture now. I might just... You can see that just adding those clusters of florals makes a world of difference. All right, I'm just going to add, I'm not going to tack anything down just because of time here. But I'm just going to play in placement now. I kind of like this little, this was in the Creative Cuts, this little envelope. I just want to use it, so. Okay, so I'm going to grab one of these. This is the same floral as this one, and I'm just going to cut in half so that I have an extra little bit here. I'm looking at it on camera because it always looks different from when I look up on camera. So now I'm just adding. I'm just adding stuff. All right, so these are cute little hinges. I'm going to use those as well. There's another one in here. There should be two of each, so. Oh, I wonder, you know what? I might do, or maybe I'll do that. I don't know. What else can I use here? There's the other hinge. I love going through all this ephemera. I'm sorry, I'm searching through the ephemera to the left of me. I know you can't see me doing that, but that's what I'm doing. And I keep on hitting my keyboard and it's popping up a screen. All right, these are the two same ones here. Okay, I'm gonna quit while I'm ahead, guys. But you can kind of see how that is kind of taking place here. And I'm gonna just glue all this stuff down. I'm gonna add a little bit of this filler, and then this is gonna be done. All right. So I think I'm happy with that. There is another little envelope here. I don't know if I'll use it. And then on the Creative Cuts, there's some more of these ones. So I don't know if I'm going to combine it with this as well. But yeah, I'm going to just finish this up and then I will take a picture of it. But it's going to look very similar to what I have here. All right, so I'm going to call it an evening just because it's getting quite late and I don't want to take too much more of your time. So there's one layout, and then I'm just going to bring back everything if I can find it all. There is the second layout, and then of course we did our shaped card here, and I've lost the other two cards. Oh my goodness. Yep, I have. Anyways, I will take pictures of them once I find them, and I'll post them once they're all done. I'm just going to do the finishing touches like the splattering and adding gems if I need to, but I'll post them, and if they're not posted tonight, they'll be posted tomorrow morning so you can see the finished samples. And if I get around to it, I'll finish up the other two cards that I was going to create, so you can see it all in action, this whole collection from Uniquely Creative. So that is it for me this evening. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for um, tuning in to the very end. I went a little later than usual, but I hope you enjoyed it. All right. So, all right. Thanks everyone. Have yourself a fabulous night. Watch for those pictures of this of all these projects, and we'll talk to you soon. All right. See you later. Bye.